Guys know how I do it. Today is Tuesday, so that can only mean one thing. On air with Russell of Hotels. You know that long, I'm sorry, that live hospitality talk show that everyone's talking about. It's show number 339. Yeah, I've done 339 of these shows, of these types of shows. This hospitality unplugged, this on air with Russell of Hotels, live hospitality. Anyway, coming at you. So anyway, this is a monologue section, so this gives me a chance to kind of get everything together. I want to make sure I'm live on all the platforms I'm supposed to be live on. But the chat is open. Feel free to make your comments. The chat's open on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Okay, so yeah, that's 4 different platforms that I stream to. So there you go. So yeah, I'm kind of, I guess, laid back today. Got my Russell of Hotels hat on, which you can have too, right? If you want one, you can have one too. But but yeah, so I just came back from just a real quick story because you know I'm always full of stories. I have physical therapy twice a week, right? You guys know I injured myself about a month and a half ago. Well, they gave me some physical therapy, so I go at least an hour twice a week, right? So I did that, came back, and it was right. I mean, I just got back to the house maybe about 20 minutes ago. So you know, I have to set up, I have to make sure everything is ready. So it took me a couple minutes over. Okay, so I think I came on at 1:01, but that's okay. Normally it's at 1 o'clock. Okay, so I'm a minute late, so you know, sue me. But anyway, this gives me a chance to, when I do the monologue on this gives me a chance to catch up and make sure that I am live on the platforms I'm supposed to be live on, and everything is set up the way it's supposed to be, right? Because it's not, you know, people think that, you know, doing these shows is easy. I mean, it gets easier. The process is easy, but I mean, you still have to do your homework. You still have to write your notes. You still have to do all these different things. Unless you, I mean, if you're good at winging it, that's good. Okay, I'm glad for you, happy for you. But I have to prepare. Okay, so the scripts and all that kind of stuff. I have my iPad right next to me. So yeah. So all the things that you see, like the on air with Russell Fidel's, I mean, that stuff has to be typed there. I mean, that doesn't just like magically appear just because I want it to be there. No, I have to do that, right? Well, actually, it's already done. I do it one time and then I go back in and change it to three. It was 338, so I changed it to 339. Okay, so okay, all right, you know, all right. I'm not, you know, I don't have to reinvent the wheel every time, but at least one time you have to, you know, put everything together, and then you just go in and change some of the scripts and all that stuff. So but it does take a minute to get this thing started, but I love it, right? So I mean, that's why I've done 339. Now 339 of on air with Russell of Hotels. Now Russell of Hotels, or on air, was the first show I started doing, right, back in 2019. Okay, so from that show, from that standpoint, yes, I've done 339. Now I do a daily check-in with Russell of Hotels, which comes on 4 times a week. Now I don't even want to talk about how many of those I've done, and I started those much later than on air with Russell of Hotels. So I started at maybe 2.5, 3 years ago, and I've done already probably over 1,000 of those shows, right? So if you add them all together, I'm like 1,400, probably about 1,400 shows total that I've done. Not to mention some of the other things that I do, not to mention the hospitality unplugged and all that stuff. But it's all in the name of hospitality. So everything that I do is all about hospitality, right? If you're a hotel person, okay, this can help you. If you're a DMO person, okay, this can help you. Okay. So maybe if you're into non-meat eats, well, what the hell is non-meat eats? Well, I don't eat meat, right? So I go to a lot of restaurants that don't serve meat. They're 100% plant-based, right? So that can help you too. Maybe you need to know, you know, you're asking like, where should I go and how do I make this? How do I make that? So anyway, that's just a little bit about me. What about meeting planning or hotel site selection, which I call it, right? That's one of the things that I do. What about elevating one's brand? I mean, that's another thing that I do, right? So all those things that I just threw out there, those are things that I talk about on a at least daily basis with the daily check-in, and then at least a weekly basis. I can't even speak. Weekly basis. Say that like 5 times fast. Weekly basis. Weekly basis. Okay. Um, on air once a week, right? So there you go. So there you go. So anyway, let me just open up my water here. You know what a do you know what a podcaster's best friend is? Water, okay, or something to drink. I'll just say something to drink. Some people, they'll get their little drink on while they're doing the lives or doing their shows. Every now and then I'll do that too. I mean, I may have a beer or something like that every now and then, depending on who I'm talking to. Sometimes it's like when I'm having a guest on and it's in the afternoon and it's Friday, they want to relax, and I'm all for relaxing, right? So hey, give me a cold Modelo or a 805, one of those. Okay, those are my favorite beers. Just in case you wanted to know, those are it. That's it. So anyway, once again, we're live on Instagram. So I had to check Instagram. So Instagram, I have to go back and forth. I have to toggle back and forth to make sure that I am live on there, which I am. So if you're on Instagram, hey, come on over, see what's going on. And then, but once again, my primary platforms that I stream to: LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So there you go. So that is the monologue. So we're going to get started on the show. I do have a topic like I normally do, but I will be back in a couple of minutes. In fact, not a couple of minutes. I think it's a little bit over a minute, but let me just make sure that is queued up so I can go from there. Let's see. I'm getting like emails as I'm talking and all that, and that's fine. Go ahead and get your email on. So anyway, give me a couple minutes and I'll be right back and we'll start the show. Hey, welcome back to Russell or On Air with Russell of Hotels. This is show 339. Today is, what is today? Today is Tuesday, April 14th. So you got one more day for your taxes, right? Before your taxes are due. Okay. So make sure you get those done. You know what? This year was the first time in years, I think probably the first time since I started my business. So at least 7, 8 years that I'm actually did my taxes on time. Normally I don't do them until close to the end of the year. But because of some circumstances that have happened, and nothing bad, it's just that we chose to do them earlier this time. So, but normally I don't do them, and it always, you know what? They're always this is always a task, a chore. And I pretty much was done with it, but you want to fine tune, make sure you have every single thing in there, right? So I'm going through, bank statements and credit card statements just to make sure I'm cross-referencing everything and make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. And I did miss some stuff. I always miss some things, and I found quite a bit of stuff, right? And so yeah, so if you haven't done your taxes yet, make sure you get on them. But if you're a little late, whatever, what they gonna do, right? What's gonna happen? Okay, I don't know, but I mean, you do you do you, and I'll do me. But yeah, so today I have my physical therapist. So just in case you happen to be tuning in, like, wait, what is he doing with a hat on today? Oh my god, like that is so lame. Like whatever. Okay, so I got my little physical therapy on today. I'm gonna work out after this is over. So yeah, so you know what? Sometimes like in hospitality, I remember in the hotel industry, right? No 2 days are alike, right? Well, in life, no 2 days are alike, right? You don't have to dress the same every single day. Maybe you want to, turn up a little bit, okay? Turn up or turn down, okay? So I'm like, you know what? I got this on right now. I'm kind of in a crunch to get this thing started. So I said, let me just go ahead and just whatever I have on, I'm gonna leave on. Okay. And then we just gonna keep it rolling. Okay. So anyway, the comment section is open. So feel free to make comments. If you're on Instagram, please make a comment. I can see it. If you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, I can see it too, right? And I'll put your chat or your comments or your questions or whatever they may be on the screen in real time because that's just what I do. Okay. So anyway, I never do one of these shows where I'm not highlighting a destination or a hotel. And today I believe it's going to be two things, right? So let's just get into it. Let's just get into it. And should I be over here or should I be? I don't know. Panama. Oh my God. Are you serious? Panama? Man, I went to Panama, loved Panama, loved Panama. So this is actually the Panama Canal Zone. Okay. So anyone that knows anything about Panama, they know that there's a canal there. There's a canal that allows ships to go through, right? So ships have to go through here because the oceans are different levels, different like the Caribbean going through the Pacific Ocean or whatever. It has to. There's certain things they have to do. These things are called locks. If you can see that, you really can't see it, but that's what this is. So that's a ship that's passing through, and you can't see. Okay, can you see the? You see the people like in the background. You see people on top of the ship. Now, when this thing started, the ship was up high where you can see darn near the bottom of the ship, right? And you couldn't even see the top of it. Well, these locks regulate the water. So when they come out on the other side, they're level because if that didn't exist, the ships couldn't get through. So because it's going from the Caribbean to the Pacific, okay, and the levels are different. The water levels are different. So you have to help it out. So this is kind of a modern day marvel, okay, because it was done back in the early 1900s. There was no technology. There was nothing like that. So it's still the same thing that they've used, right? They may have built some stuff around it, but the technology is whatever they use now had nothing to do with back in the day, right? So it wasn't like, okay, now it's better now because we have better technology. No, whoever did this, I mean, there's a whole history, there's a whole museum about it. It's quite fascinating. So if you ever go to Panama, make sure you go to the Panama Canal Zone. They have like a movie in there. It explain everything to you. And the movie's not that long. I'm saying maybe 30 minutes long. But it explain everything, how it started. And guess who narrates the movie? It's Morgan Freeman. So there you go. So and they take the American dollar over there too. So just in case you didn't know, they take the American dollar because Panama used to be, I think it was a territory. It used to be owned by United States at one time, and then I believe Jimmy Carter sold it back to them or gave it back to them. I remember that. I believe that's how it went. But yeah, so the dollar is still there, and they take the dollar 100%. So there you go. Check out the Panama Canal Zone. Okay. San Francisco de Asís, that's a church there, right in Casco Viejo. That's right in the heart of Panama City, Panama. Actually, this photo I took was from my guest room, from my hotel room. It was at night, of course. I'm like, oh my God, what a perfect shot. Okay. What a perfect shot of San Francisco de Asís, the church, Iglesia. Okay. So I'm like, I've got to check this out. I have to do that, right? So yeah, so that was cool. It was very nice. And I was pleasantly surprised about Panama. I mean, pleasantly surprised. People were very nice. People were, they wanted to help. They were so accommodating in the hotel. You felt that feeling of hospitality. It was great. I mean, it could not have been a better time. And then we took a side trip to Colon, Panama, which is about an hour and a half outside of Panama City. And this is Fort San Lorenzo. And that is it's a fort from back in the day. I want to say back in the, I don't know, was it like 1500s or something, 1500s or something like that. It was something crazy. But yeah, so and I just took a picture of that because I thought that was kind of cool, kind of a lookout point for pirates and stuff. I think it was built because of pirates, right? It was built and they, see if pirate ships were coming up. And this was kind of the lookout for the pirate ships. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And now we get to the hotel, right? So this is the view of downtown Panama City from my guest room. So you see the two chairs there, little patio, whatever. It was kind of cool. And to the left is where the church was, a church that I took a picture of earlier, that I showed you earlier. So yeah, so the Sofitel Legend Casco Viejo in Panama City. That's the hotel we stayed in. 159 guest rooms, 4,295 square feet of meeting space. So yeah, so it did do, say you had a board meeting or something like that, you wanted to meet outside, or a incentive trip. Boom, there you go. Incentive trip. Boom, there you go. In fact, that's what I was there for an incentive trip. Okay, so there you go. So that was kind of cool to kind of experience it along with the group. It was kind of cool. It was kind of cool. And that was my room, right? So that wasn't like a room that we toured. That was my room. Okay, so there you go. And the little food, the food's so fresh, like avocados and like papayas, pineapples, a lot of the melons. I mean, a lot of stuff of course, they grow right there. And it was good. The bread, oh my God, I don't eat a lot of bread, but I definitely ate a lot of bread, when I was there this time. Okay, so, but just nice and healthy, it seemed like. This is outside in their patio area or courtyard area. And if you go straight ahead, you overlook a swimming pool. And then beyond that was the ocean. So yeah, it was, like I said, it was pretty cool. And this is a lobby area. Front desk is, if you just kept straight, if you could walk straight through there, you would run to the front desk. So yeah, so very nice hotel. And then this right here is that same, I guess this is maybe one row over from the picture that I showed you at night. So see where those people are? They're looking over the pool. So you look over the pool, and then beyond that is the ocean. So, and then a lot of places you can sit down and just be, if that's what you wanted to do. And of course, that Wi-Fi works out there as well. They have some strong Wi-Fi. They have good Wi-Fi out there. So yeah, so I was able to do everything that I would do here. I was able to do there, and probably it was a little bit faster, even faster than my high speed at home, I think. So yeah, I believe so. Yeah, sure it was. So yeah, so if anybody, say, well, you know what? Do you get connection when you go out of the country? Yeah. Do you go to like Central America? Yeah, you get some good Wi-Fi. So there you go. Okay, real quick. I guess you know what? This is not gonna take that long today because I'm kind of speeding past this stuff. So I'm waiting for some comments. Okay, can I get some comments? Ooh, that's some good cold water. Nothing like some good cold water when you're talking a lot. Okay, let's see. I got to get my iPad out here. Okay, that's one thing I do. A lot of people do this, right? You can't remember everything. You got to go over, right? So you have to, form a script for yourself, right? So of course I do a script as well, and everything I talk about is pretty much or practically on the script. So let me just see. Oh, okay. I'll do that one later. Okay. The topic for today. Topic for today is, there is a hotel for every group. Is there a hotel for every group? That's a good one, right? That's a good one. I like that. And I've talked about this before, right? But one of the biggest mistakes in hospitality is assuming that every group belongs in the same type of hotel. The reality is that the best hotel is not always the biggest, it's not always the newest or the most well known. Okay. The best hotel is the one that is the right fit for that particular group. Okay. So we're talking about group stuff, right? So I do a lot of group, I do hotel site selection. So my clients are, companies, organizations, they can be sports related, they can be corporate, meaning they maybe they do a lot of board meetings or meetings. They can be an insurance company, they can be a law firm, they can be an accounting firm, right? Doesn't matter. All that stuff, it doesn't matter to me, right? But you have to know who your group is. right? Because not every group belongs in every hotel, okay? And not every hotel should think they're going to get every group, because it doesn't happen. It doesn't work. So I think it's a two-way street, right? So for the planner or for the hotel site selection person, we have to know who our client is, right? Because they don't need to be in every hotel, okay? Some of them have higher or loftier expectations than others, right? So we're looking for a higher end type of hotel for some of these corporate groups that I deal with, at least. And they'll let me know it, up front, like, we don't want a hotel like this. We don't want that. We don't want anything that's too big, right? Because they don't want to get consumed in what else, all the other crap that's going on within that hotel. And they don't want to have to fight for attention from if it's like a hotel that has a lot of meeting space, right? I mean, although sometimes for the right at the right hotel, or timing is everything, right? So sometimes um, timing could be a factor. Like, okay, we're able to accept something maybe a little less than what we normally would get, because we have to meet and we have to do it on these dates, right? So if something's not available to their satisfaction, sometimes they'll take a lesser hotel, but that's up to them, right? But I'm the one that's going to show them what I've showed them in the past. So if they've showed me who they are, meaning they're a high end group, I'm only going to show high end hotels. There's no way I'm going to show something of a notch under, because then my credibility is shot, right? And they're like, who the heck is this guy? You've done like 10 meetings for us already, right? Why all of a sudden you're going to show us this? They don't want to see that, right? They don't want to see it, and I don't show it to them. So sometimes when I'm presenting my business to hotels, like at a show, at a conference, right? We're doing one-on-one appointments, and they know the types of groups that I have, right? Because they see the list. I mean, every person has like a bio of, who you are, who your groups are, or at least the names of the groups. So they think that because it's a, insurance company or whatever, they think they can take it, right? And I'm like, it's a three diamond versus a five diamond, right? Well, I know for a fact my client only wants five diamond hotels. Okay. They're not gonna take a three diamond. So I have to, politely tell them, no, I'm sorry, your hotel is not what they're looking for. Like, oh my God, we do insurance companies all the time. Well, maybe you do insurance companies all the time, but not this insurance company. So sometimes a lot of times I have to tell my clients, like, hey, no, that's your hotel's not going to work for them. It's just not going to work. And sometimes every now and then I'll throw it to my client and just say, hey, I give them a list of, maybe four hotels, and one of them would be, a hotel like a three diamond hotel, right? And they never choose it. They never, like, no, we don't want that one. I don't care what the flag is. I don't care what the brand. If it's a three diamond, they'll see it and they'll do their research themselves, right? And they'll be like, they won't even get to that one. It'll be the top three will be the ones that, that pretty much they ask for all the time. So I mean, so why would I even want to present? I just wanted, early on when I had this client, when I first started with the client, I just wanted to see what they would do, right? If I, presented one that I knew that was not what they wanted, but because, you're trying to build a relationship with a hotel, you want to at least, throw them a bone every now and then, right? But it never came back. It never came back where they go, oh yeah, we definitely want that one. No, never. So make sure you know who your client is and what they look for, and don't deviate from that, right? If that's what they want, that's what you give them. Okay. Regardless of what hotels say, and like, oh my God, we could do this, we could do that. Yeah, maybe you can, but not for my client, you can't. So it's just how it is, right? So anyway, um, number one, let me get to it. Let me get to it. Feel free to make your comments. I'm here for your comments. It's all about engagement, people. All about engagement. So, once again, excuse me, there is a hotel for every group, right? Number one, I have three. Okay. Of course, I only do three, right? Because I want to keep this stuff simple, right? Keep it fun if I can. Know the group, or not know the type of group you are working with. Yeah. What is that group? Know the type of group that you're working with. Corporate, sports, Every group is different. A sports team may need bus parking, double rooms, flexible meal times. A board meeting may want privacy, upgraded service, and a quieter environment. An incentive group may be looking for luxury experiences and something memorable. Hotels should understand who they are best suited for instead of trying to be everything to everyone. Okay. So this is for the hotel people, right? Okay. Know who you are. All right. And I mean, I know what my clients want, but kind of know who you are. And like every group is not going to go to your hotel, right? So sometimes if we knew that, we would spend less time on groups that we know won't come to our hotel. Okay. I mean, I knew for a fact that some of the hotels I worked in, even early on as a sales manager, I didn't care about the other markets, right? I knew it was a Smurf kind of hotel, right? I mean, there was some corporate business that they did receive because we were down the street. And as far as major full service hotels, we were the only two full service branded hotels in that area, right? It was the Hilton and it was the Marriott. Okay. The Marriott was a little more upscale. Okay. So we would get things by default. I hate to say it, but we would get things by default. If the Marriott couldn't take it, then they had no choice but to come to the Hilton. Okay. But the Marriott was a notch above the Hilton. I'm just, hate to say it, but it was. But we were perfect for Smurf groups, right? We did sports teams. We did a lot of wedding blocks. We did some educational things. We did some fraternal events. We did a lot of those types of things, right? We did some military stuff. I'm sure the Marriott did. There's certain groups as well, but they didn't do as much as we did, okay? Because we took that stuff. We didn't have a problem with taking that, right? So anyway, so just make sure an incentive group may be looking for luxury experience and something memorable. Hotels should understand who they are best suited for instead of trying to be everything to everybody. Bigger is not always better, okay? Many people automatically think the largest hotel is the best option. This is not always true. Just because you're big doesn't mean small groups want to go there. Okay. Sometimes we want to be, we want that, we want to be over serviced. Okay. We want people to be on top of us, right? Meaning the hotel people. We want to be the big fish in the small pond. Okay. That's what a lot of groups want, right? They want to be the center of attention. Okay. So sometimes the bigger hotels will not work. If I'm doing a small board meeting, I just need a board room, but it's in a hotel that has 500,000 square feet of meeting space. Oh my God. Although some properties, and I know Marriott does a good job of this, they have the meeting managers that are assigned to specific hotels, right? To specific groups. Now, if they're on top of you and they understand that, that's fine, right? But know who you're working with as well, right? Like I said, I know Marriott has the dedicated people, dedicated service or um, conference services or convention services person that they will give to you, right? And I understand that if your hotel does that, make sure you point that out, right? Then that way you don't get, it's a numbers game and you're the last one. You got the smallest group, so you're going to get the smallest amount of service. No, we don't want that. Okay, no one wants that. All right, so just know for the planner, know who you're working with, and for the hotel, know what you need to tell the client. Okay, like, hey, we have this specialized person that will be dedicated to your group. Well, that's a huge selling point. So make sure you let people know that because that does matter. That does matter. Okay, so that was number one. Number two, did I say this one already? Bigger is not always better. No, I said that. Okay, I did. Yeah. Many people think, I guess I got to say this again, right? Many people automatically think the larger hotel is the best option. That's not always true. Sometimes a smaller boutique hotel or independent hotel is a better fit because it can provide more personalized service, more attention, and an experience that feels more tailored to the group. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say a little while ago. Okay. But I forgot that. Okay. So, yeah, just make sure we do that. And Number three, the right match creates a better experience for everyone. When the right hotel is paired with the right group, everyone wins. the client has a better experience, the attendees enjoy the stay more, the hotel performs better, and there is a much greater chance that the group will return in the future. And that's what everyone wants, right? You want that return business, that repeat business, okay, that you don't have to go searching for to find. I don't have to find any more new business. I got all this repeat stuff coming in. The people that I had, or the group I had coming in this year, they said they're going to come back next year. I already sent them a contract. That's what you want. So when is the best time to rebook a group? When they're still in your hotel, when they're having a good time, when everything is going well. That's when you present them with the option for next year, right? Sometimes we get creative. These salespeople get creative where I know they're interested in coming to our area 2 years in a row, right? Well, offer them something that will make them book with you 2 years in a row. They'll sign a 2-year contract instead of a 1-year contract, right? If you get an extra year, that's money in the bank, right? You don't have to worry about that space or those dates, going into next year, because you already booked them twice, 2 times. One contract, 2 years, okay? That would be, well, actually still be 2 contracts, but you want that, right? So ask for that ahead of time. Know your client before you even get to the contract. Is there any possibility that you'll be coming back the previous year? Or the next year, if you're considering that, we can tailor it where the rate is the same. How many times have people done that where or maybe not the same, but we'll ensure that the increase won't go over 2% or something like that. Then that way they know exactly what it's going to be. They know that, okay, everything goes up every year over year, prices go up. We understand that. But if you can keep it the same, or maybe limit it to like a 2 or 3% increase year over year, they'll be happy with that. But a lot of hotels don't even think about that. I don't know why we thought about stuff back in the day. And I talk to people now on a consulting basis and see if they do that. And they look at me like I got like 3 heads. They're like, huh? What? You would offer them that, to come back? Yeah. Yeah, I would. Yes. And we should do that. Be creative about what we're doing. Come on, salespeople. You guys know that, right? I'm not the only one am I preaching to the choir? I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. In closing, there's no such thing as one hotel that is perfect for everyone. No, you're never going to find that. The key is understanding who your hotel is best for and making sure you are visible to the groups that are the right fit. Because the right hotel plus the right group equals the best experience for everyone. Not just for the group, but for the hotel as well. Okay, because you're not like, well, we normally don't do this, but we're doing it. Well, no, do things that you're comfortable with, right? And that's what you want, right? Hotels should not try to be something they're not. If you're, a 3-diamond hotel, that's fine, right? Don't try to be a 5-diamond because you're going to fail. You're going to fall on your face. That is not going to work. Okay, that is not going to work. So just make sure we're doing that. And I always have a quote, right? And I've shared this quote with many people. There's a hotel for every group and a group for every hotel. That's simple, right? There's a hotel for every group and a group for every hotel. Our job as hotel site selection people are to find those hotels. Know our group first and foremost. Know the heck who our group is, and then find that hotel. And for the hotel, know your hotel, know who you are, and know the groups that do well in your hotel, right? Based on your staff, based on your, the metrics of your hotel, the brand, the size of your hotel, or what you guys are good at. I mean, make sure you know those things. Those things are important, right? So there you go. Okay, so let's move on. Like I said, I don't think this is going to take long today, buddy. I don't think so. Let's see. I'm trying to find the who's hiring part. Who's hiring? Boom, there it is. Who's hiring? Okay, now these jobs, I always do this. These are jobs in the greater Los Angeles area. Okay, so if you're in New York, this is not for you. If you're in Orlando, Florida, this ain't for you. Dallas, Texas, Houston, No, these jobs are not for you unless you're coming to Los Angeles, okay? Which is good. I mean, come on, we got plenty of jobs for people. Woo, that was a good one. So, okay, so who's hiring? And these jobs I got from Indeed.com. So just go Indeed.com, look under hotels, Los Angeles area, and you pretty much get these jobs. Okay. So the first one, the Beverly Hills Hotel. Guess what city that's in? The Beverly Hills Hotel. It's in Beverly Hills. Hello. They're looking for a director of engineering. Okay, see, okay. Normally, the jobs that I find are like sales and general manager jobs, but very seldom is there a director of engineering job. So, okay, so if you know anybody that's an engineer and they're looking for to being a director, or maybe that they're a director already, looking for another position, they want to grow and expand. The Beverly Hills Hotel in Beverly Hills, they're looking for a director of engineering. Now, this one was one of those private postings, or they don't want to tell anything about it. You basically have to apply, and then you'll find out what the hotel company is. But it says Hotel Corporation, kind of generic, right? Regional Director of Operations in Los Angeles. That's what they're looking for. That's it. So you have to actually fill this thing out, fill out the whole thing, and you'll find out who it is, right? I wasn't going to do all that. But Hotel Corporation in the Los Angeles area, they're looking for a regional director of operations. Sonesta Hotels in Anaheim, or the Sonesta Hotel in Anaheim, they're looking for a sales manager. There you go. And then Century City Hotel, and I think it's the Fairmont in Century City. I'm pretty sure it's the Fairmont. They're looking for a general manager. That would be a great position, right? If you're a GM, be a GM at the Fairmont. Oh my God. Okay. Fairmont? Are you serious right now? So yeah, so that'd be kind of cool, right? So, but anyway, that what? That went pretty quickly, right? I didn't anticipate that would go that fast, right? But it did. It did. So hold on one second. I kind of have something else to talk about, right? Or am I done for the day? Let me see. Who am I? So if you have any questions at all, this right here, okay, that's a QR code, okay? So just take your camera phone out, turn it to the camera function, and point it on there, and it should light up, or a little thing will pop up, and hit that, and that'll give you that's my email. My email information is right there, and if I'm not mistaken, my website is on there as well. If it's not, let me just change it. Let me change this and I know the website is on here. I don't know why that covers me up, right? So let me just stand up straight. But yeah, so right here, boom, 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 just click on there, and that'll give you my email address as well as the website, russellfhotels.com. So there you go. So that would be it. Oh no, I didn't mean to disappear that. Let me disappear this. Make my funk the P-funk. So yeah, so okay, so and I get a notification anytime. This is the coolest thing, right? Anytime somebody clicks on that, or they take a picture of the QR code, I get a notification that someone did it, and somebody on YouTube did it. So whoever's on YouTube checking us out, I appreciate that. I see Arlette. Oh my God. Okay. So I'm looking over at Instagram, right? And she's not your let. She's not my let. She's Arlette. Okay. So Arlette is with Arlette is with Ontario CVB. I want to say it's called Go. Is it Go or Go Ontario, California? Is that what it is? Anyway, Ontario CVB. I mean, one of those up and coming great. I love that DMO there. They do a great job. In fact, they just hired somebody I thought was great. They hired is it Julio Arias? Oh my God. You know what? That guy, he was my sales rep over at the Pacific Palms Hotel. Okay. So I thought he was great, right? I'm like, dang, this dude. And not that I'm like, because he's been there for several years, right? And I was thinking this, okay, I can say it now, but I was thinking that, like, this guy, Um, Not that that hotel is not great, and it's a nice hotel. I love that hotel. I booked that hotel because of that location and because of Julio. Let me just throw it out there. I booked it because of Julio, and I said, "This guy needs to be somewhere else, right?" Because that hotel is kind of hidden, if you will, right? It's not a they need. It's one of those hotels that needs more visibility. Okay, and I mention this all the time, right? There's a lot of hotels that will do well only if people knew that they were around. Well, the only reason I knew about this hotel, because I had forgotten about it, right? And I know people that work there. This is the thing. Prior to me meeting Julio, I knew at least two people that I used to work with, that I was good friends with, right? I forgot they worked there, right? And which, if I forget that they worked there, I forget the hotel, right? So shame on me. I even sent out an RFP and forgot, right? So I sent out an RFP, say to maybe 7 hotels, and they were one of the 7, and I forgot that they were in the mix for this piece of business, right? So I was following up with other hotels, and I said, well, the hotels that I was coming across, they didn't work for this group, right? So I'm like, dang, I have to go back to the drawing board. So I go back to the list of hotels to make sure I didn't miss anything, and it was the Pacific Palms, right? I'm like, dang it, the Pacific Palms. I know that hotel. This is, yeah, it used to be this, used to be that. I need to, kind of do some more research. But all the while, I was getting these emails, follow-up emails from Julio, right? And so I'm like, I wasn't answering the emails, right? I'll be honest, right? Because I said, I don't think that hotel is going to work, because I forgot about where it was, what it looked like, and everything that it had to offer this particular group. So I went back and responded to Julio, because he was sending messages like once a week. He was sending emails once a week, which for a sales manager, that's what you should be doing, right? So he was staying top of mind with me. Okay. Although the hotel wasn't, he was, right? So he kept sending me stuff and like, did you make a decision and blah, blah, blah. Do we need to revisit anything in our proposal? And I started looking at it and reading it. I'm like, you know what? I want to come and take a look at this hotel one more time. Or I hadn't seen it in a couple of years. So I said, I want to come take a look at it. And I remember this. It was like 9:30 in the morning. And I said, I'm coming today. I can be there like in an hour and a half. And he was like, okay, let's do it. you know, most salespeople are like, I'll be, tomorrow or whatever. No, Julio said, I'm here. Let me know when you're here. I will set it up. And I said, okay, I'll be there. I think I said 11:30. Got there at 11:30. He was there, showed me around. I got reintroduced to people that I knew. Um, Man, and we ended up booking there. But the only reason, it had nothing to do with the hotel. It had everything to do with Julio. So fast forward to the last trip. The only trip I've taken this year was IPEC, which was in Chandler, Arizona. Okay, and Julio was there, right? And I could tell how you can tell how people navigate themselves around if they're a good salesperson, right? Because if someone you see one person, a salesperson, start on one side of the room and work his way to another side of the room, that one has that gift, right? And people don't know. I sit back and watch people, right? I sit back and watch people work the room, and he worked the room. If people knew him, and if it, he's one of those people that never met a stranger kind of thing. Can walk up and talk to anybody. And as a salesperson, that's what you want, right? And after that encounter with him, and I think I met with him too, right? We had just a brief conversation. Yeah, we had a one-on-one appointment. But we didn't have a lot to talk about because, he already sent me the contract, right? So we were talking about the contract or whatever. But just from my first encounter with him at his hotel, and then there, I walked away from there like, he's not going to be at that hotel long. And why has he been there that long? That's what I was thinking, right? Because some people have so much to give. It's not enough for one. It's too much for one hotel. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense to people out there, but he just seemed to I want to say he needed to be at a destination. He needed to be representing a destination. Okay. That's what I'm trying to say. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. One hotel was not enough for him. Okay. And I don't know if he would say this or not, but this is my observation. I've been around a long time, right? So I can see people that, I can see people with some things in people that maybe they don't even see in themselves. But I didn't say anything at all, right? So I get this notification from the hotel, Pacific Palms, saying that Julio's no longer here. And I got a new person that's going to take over. I love that, right? I'm glad that people do that because I would hate to find out on my own that Julio was gone, right? Julio didn't tell me, and Julio didn't have to tell me, okay? I was happy that the hotel, the new representative, reached out. So shout out to Pacific Palms for taking care of business because not every hotel does that, okay? So I didn't have to wonder, like, if I send an email to Julio and it bounces back, like, damn, I didn't know this. No, they took it upon themselves to reach out to me and say, hey, Julio's no longer here. I'm your new contact, and let me know if you need anything. And at that time, we needed to, they were due a deposit. So he said, hey, I send you a link for the deposit. We need it by this day. And I'm like, I was okay. I'm cool with that because I know we owed the money, right? The initial deposit, and we paid that and we move forward. So they still keep in contact. And that's the great thing, right? And then I find out they didn't tell me where Julio was going. I said, well, it's going to surface somewhere. He's going to put it on LinkedIn or something. And he did. And he's at the Ontario CVB. So I see Robert Lynn. Hey, Robert Lynn, how are you? So yeah, so it was, I'm glad for him. Congratulations. I've congratulated him probably at least two times on LinkedIn. So that's the thing. LinkedIn, he uses LinkedIn. Every salesperson should use LinkedIn. Every salesperson in the hospitality, I'm only talking about hospitality because that's the only thing I'm in, right? And I'm 100% in that industry, okay? So everybody, if you have a new job, new things, visibility, all that stuff, you need to post those things on LinkedIn. He did, as well as Ontario CVB. So shout out to Ontario CVB as well. Appreciate you guys too as well. Just putting that out there. And I know you guys got a great guy in Julio. I know you did. I mean, man, I'm so happy that that did happen because, like I said, some people are just too. And this is not a bad thing to say this, right? Some people are just too big for one hotel. They need to represent a destination. That's just it because they're bigger than that one place. They want to represent, they need to represent an entire destination with multiple hotels and multiple venues and all this kind of stuff and something that's up and coming that's doing something great. And Ontario is one of those that's doing something great. So they needed somebody that will be, kind of at the forefront and bringing everything along with it. So when when he goes to conferences, he's not forgetting that, they're redoing their convention center. They went from maybe, I don't know, what is it? They're doubling the size. So maybe they went from 200,000 square feet to 400,000 square feet or something like that. So, and they're building another hotel and they're bringing this on, and this hotel is reflagging or rebranding. They need somebody like that to get the word out. And Julio, I have no doubt that he will make that happen. So I had to say that, right? So sometimes, we think about a lot of stuff and we don't say it. So that's one thing about this platform. It gives me, a little bit more to say than I normally would say. So that's just me. That's just how it is. So I see Miss Tiffany. Tiffany. Okay, so Miss Tiffany's over there on Instagram as well. So Arlette, Robert Lynn, and Miss Tiffany, Velvet Style Biz. Okay, appreciate you guys joining. Miss Tiffany joins me on Mondays. She's my guest host on Mondays on the Daily Check-In. So if you haven't checked out the Daily Check-In with Miss Tiffany. In fact, I think we're supposed to do something tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, because she's traveling now and she couldn't do yesterday. So she said, let's do it on Wednesday. So hopefully that's going to happen tomorrow. So, but no, I appreciate everybody who tunes in, who chimes in, who makes comments, who shows themselves. I appreciate that. And I hope that story resonated with, some people because, we need to appreciate the people that we work with. And like I said, sometimes people people can outgrow, a job, right? And like I said, when he showed me who he was, I'm like, it's just a matter of time before someone snaps him up, makes him an offer he cannot refuse. Okay. And I think Ontario did that. I don't know if he was looking. I don't know anything like that at all. But I just know when I saw that, because sometimes, sometimes when something like that happens, after I just sign a contract with someone and then now all of a sudden they're leaving, I'm like, what the heck is going on here? This time I didn't feel some kind of way. A lot of times I would feel some kind of way, like, damn it, we just signed this. I just got this relationship with this dude or this person. Now all of a sudden he's leaving, he or she is leaving. Damn it, now I gotta break in someone else, right? But I didn't think like that. I was like, oh my God, that's a great opportunity for both parties, for Julio and for Ontario. So anyway, see, I'm just one of those people that just speaks their mind. And I think it's important that we do that. Okay. So anyway, that is it. See, I did all that talking. I didn't think I was going to have anything to talk about other than the stuff that I normally go through. But because Miss Arlette, made or she showed her presence on Instagram, that made me think of something else. And then Miss Robert Lynn's out there in Houston. She be in Houston. Okay. She just came off the rodeo in Houston. And then Miss Tiffany, that she's traveling somewhere. I think she was on a cruise. Was she on a cruise this time? I can't remember. I can't remember. I guess we'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow. So anyway, that is it. You guys, thank you again so much for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels, that live hospitality talk show everyone's talking about. This was show number, was it 339? Hold on. Let me get back. Let me get back to where I was. Let me get back to where it was. Boom. Let's get the ticker started. So yeah, On Air, Russell of Hotels, show number 339. Make sure if you have questions at all, you want to email me. Email is right here. Just click on that. That's the QR code, and we can make it happen. We can make it happen. And I think that's it. So anyway, that is it. You guys have a great day. Thank you guys so much for joining. Tomorrow is another show. It's called the Daily Check-In. So make sure you check that out. I think tomorrow will be at 9:00. If Tiffany's going to be on, it'll be tomorrow at 9:00. So until tomorrow, you guys have a great day. Happy Tuesday. And remember, tax day tomorrow. So if you haven't done your taxes, make sure you do them by tomorrow. Okay. If not, I'm telling people. Okay. I'm going to tell on you. Anyway, that's it. Have a great day.